Skinny spazoid. Napoleon was a conqueror of Europe, often cited by many historians to be arguably the individual in history with the largest amount of influence in a political sense that ever lived. His conquests undoubtedly changed the course of European history by destroying and rebuilding the structure of power through these rival and neighboring countries. Napoleon took control of France when it hungered for more power than the people had gotten, and he delivered this power in plenty. His influence was in fact so large that despite how one feels about him, be it love or hate, he needs to be acknowledged as a chief of his time. Number 10. Artistic renditions. Napoleon had many dramatic artistic renditions of himself done. This was important for a culture where art had high value with the people. The image of Napoleon is very famous, and the influence of him essentially branding himself is unquestionable. Number 9. Egyptian campaign. Napoleon set out a major expedition of Ottoman territories, including Egypt and Syria. His campaign was somewhat successful, although he eventually decided to spend his energy elsewhere. However, he was able to succeed in his stated purpose of going, which was to defend French trade interests, limit English trade to India, and start a scientific enterprise in the region. The campaign was a great discovery for Europe of Egyptian culture, and the discovery of the Rosetta Stone during the campaign created the scientific field of Egyptology. Number 8. Middle Eastern alliances. Napoleon had created a Franco-Prussian alliance with the Shah of Iran, Fath Ali Shah Qajar. The alliance was an agreement to work against British and Russian forces. The Persian army was modernized by the French and was sent on an expedition against the British. Number 7. Invasion of Russia. The invasion of Russia by Napoleon is considered by many to be a historical mistake. It certainly was on some level, but this distinction does not take into account how successful Napoleon was against the Russian military. Napoleon was able to win battles against the Russians, most notably in the Battle of Friedland, a major victory for the French. The Russian military eventually stopped Napoleon's conquest through scorched earth policies and communication breakdowns between the French. Number 6. Invasion of Italy. Famously depicted in the painting of Napoleon Crossing the Alps, Napoleon was involved in multiple campaigns in Italy in which he was successful in conquering most of it. It is important to note that the Italian wars were not exclusively Italian, but an active attempt by most of Europe to stop Napoleon, including the Austrian, Swiss, and Russian forces. Number 5. Invasion of Germany. This campaign held some of the heights of the French military, including at the Battle of Hanau, where the French, through crafty artillery movements, were able to run through opposing Austrian forces. Napoleon's ability to maneuver through so many militaries was truly remarkable. Number 4. Invasion of Spain. This was truly a case of Napoleon versus the world, as the French army was going against the powers of the Spanish, English, and Portuguese. This campaign lasted for many years as Spanish guerrillas and the French military were at a standstill most of the time. Once in control of Spain, Napoleon took the throne away from Charles IV and into the hands of his son, Joseph. Number 3. Invasion of Belgium and the Netherlands. Napoleon was able to conquer Belgium and the Netherlands and was said to rapidly industrialize and improve the country. This is an example of some of the reasons Napoleon is considered by many to be a mixed character, as his campaigns often brought an advanced level of civilization and government to people. Number 2. Alliances in Europe. Napoleon's alliances, while on and off, such as in the case of the Austrians and Prussians, was the main reason he was able to consolidate his power. Similar to what many historians say of Genghis Khan, in that many believe that Khan could conquer the whole world, but did not, as he favored alliances. Napoleon was very skilled in that he could make alliances and be able to work with people. Napoleon was well loved by the French people as well as his subordinates. Number 1. Domination of Europe for over a decade. From around 1799 to 1815, Napoleon completely dominated the political world of Europe through conquest. His massive success paid off, as in many respects he was the boss, changing the world before him. Napoleon brought about many things that would be considered hallmarks of what many people think society should have today, including a sense of equality, education, and a lack of poverty.